We're rolling. Good afternoon, class. I'm Alex.
I'm Colleen.
And today we're going to lecture you on the elements of the wrist and hand joints. Colleen?
Alright, so the first thing about the wrist and hand is all the joints. So right now you have the distal radius and ulna, and you also have all of the carpal bones, and the joints are the joints in between them are all gliding joints, and they don't have very much range of motion. And then your knuckles here are your metacarpal phalangeal joints, and it's also short for MCP. And then you have your proximal interphalangeal joints right here, and then your distal interphalangeal joints right below your nails, and they're all hinge joints. And then you also have your thumb, which is kind of a unique joint. It's a saddle joint because it has a very unique range of motion.
Okay, speaking on range of motions, we are going to introduce Henry the hand here, okay? So we're going to break down these ranges of motions into wrist, and then we're going to do the phalangeal, or the digit movement, and then we're going to talk about this unique feature of the thumb. So first, let's do the wrist. There are 4 movements that we're going to be looking at here. First, you can hold your hand out, or you can hold backwards, either way. We'll go this way. So you have your radius on your thumb side, it's always going to be there. So if you deviate it, you get radial deviation. If you go to the other side, you got your ulna, your pinky side, digit 5. If we deviate it that way, guess what we got? Ulnar deviation. Now we can do flexion. That's where you can make a fist, you can keep your hand flat, either way it works. But we are going towards the palm reflection side. We're going palm side down. Okay, then we have dorsiflexion, or you can call this extension. It's essentially the opposite range of motion. Okay, now we're going to talk about the movement of the fingers itself. So back with Henry, okay? Hand out like this. If we bring the fingers down like this, we are talking about flexion. Then we have extension. And then we've got 2 more. We've got abduction by spreading the fingers apart, or we can add towards the middle where we bring the fingers together. Now let's talk about this thumb. It has 5 ranges of motion. 1, we can flex it, then we can extend it, we can also abduct it, or we can adduct it, and then the cool thing which allows us to grasp is that we can oppose it, opposition. There you have it. Thank you for watching. Alright, and now we will be speaking on some of the muscles. So, as you can see on the board, the major muscle groups we're going to be looking at today are going to be the extrinsic flexors, the extrinsic extensors, and the thumb muscles are the ones I'll be going over. So, your extrinsic flexors, first of all, let's define what an extrinsic muscle of the wrist and hand means. It means that it originates outside of the wrist and hand, and then it's going to insert within that wrist and hand. So, for the flexors, they're going to originate on the medial epicondyle of the humerus, and they're going to insert somewhere within the wrist and hand. So flexors essentially mean this motion again, we're flexing. That's what they do. Extrinsic extensors, again, they're going to originate outside of the wrist and hand, and they're going to insert within the wrist and hand. The origin is going to be the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, and it's doing this extension here. We're bringing it back. So speaking on, I forgot this, for the flexors, they're going to insert on the volar, the palmar aspect of the hand, and the extensors are going to insert on the dorsal side of the hand. Thumb muscles, there are 4 main types based on 4 of the 5 motions of the thumb, which they all kind of work together to make all 5 of the motions work. But you have flexors, extensors, adductors, excuse me, and adductors.
Okay, so
Colleen.
the next 3 groups we have are intrinsic muscles, dorsal and palmar interossei, and lumbricals. So for intrinsic muscles, what that means is that all of these muscles insert and originate and insert in the wrist and hand. So there's nothing in the forearm at all for any of these muscles. They're usually pretty small muscles because of this. So first we have the hypothenar eminence muscles, which are just below your pinky. They're in this fat pad that you have on your hand, and they're responsible for adduction, abduction, and flexion of your pinky. Then you have dorsal and palmar interossi, which the dorsal ones extend your MCP joints and your palmar ones flex them. So they're going to be right around here. And then your lumbricals will do MCP flexion, but they will also extend the PIP and DIP joints, which you talked about earlier, up in the fingers.
So there you have it, class. Today we learned about what makes the human hand so unique and special. Thank you for watching, and
Go
go
Tigers!